My first problem with the game is the name of the game itself. I know it's the title of the movie, but I have no idea what Quantum of Solace means. I guess it's time to pull out the old dictionary. Let's see. Quantum. A quantity or an amount. Solace. Comfort in sorrow. Of. Used to indicate cause. Okay. So, many things of grief? Is that what it means? Okay, that is a strange name for a film, but it's not like it's the first time a Bond film has had a strange name. There's been names like You Only Live Twice, Moonraker, and Octopussy. I've never seen it, but I assume the last one's about a cat with 8 legs. When I'm reviewing a Bond game, I always have to put it up against GoldenEye, my favorite Bond game. Heck, my favorite first-person shooter ever. I love that while it mostly used linear paths, it still had a sense of openness in the areas you were exploring. It wasn't just all run and gun like most first-person shooters. And while Quantum of Solace isn't as good as GoldenEye, I can say for a fact it's the second best Bond game I've ever played. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be fair of me to talk about the story since I assume it parodies the movie, and I don't want to spoil anything. I can say that the game starts exactly where the movie Casino Royale ended, with 007 shooting a guy for information, and from there the story moves from one exotic location to another. The game takes you through what I assume are scenes and locations from the new movie, and it also recreates scenes and locations from Casino Royale, which I thought was a fun surprise. The story is advanced through some well-made cutscenes. They really made it feel like you were watching a movie, although I did find the computer screens a little curious. It's pretty obvious that they borrowed the look from the Star Trek TV series. Now all the publishers have to do is put a bunch of colored buttons in without any labels on their screen, and they'll completely steal the look of it. Controlling your character is fantastic. You can easily switch between a few weapons with the D-pad, and you can fire your gun with the B button. You can get a better aim by using the Z button to lock on enemies, and you can use the C button to jump or hold it to crouch. But the best part of this whole game is the ability to fire behind cover. Whenever you get next to a wall, box, pillar, desk, or whatever solid object you might see, you push the A button and you go into a third person's perspective. And it turns an already great shooter into an even better one. They give you the option of doing hand-to-hand combat with the enemies. If you get close to them, you shake the nunchuck and you have to move your cursor into a circle and press the A button, and it will do a karate move on the bad guy. There was no part of the controls that I found troublesome. Even reloading the gun with a flick of the nunchuck works perfectly. The gameplay itself tends to be different in every level. Sometimes they don't let you use your gun and you have to sneak around or follow someone. And in other levels it's just a normal run and gun layout. But with the ability to use cover, it puts strategy in the game, like running from cover to cover to get better positions on the enemy. And the enemy AI was great. They would lay down cover fire so their comrades could get a better beat on you. Plus they would use cover as well, so it was challenging at times to kill them. The graphics looked great for a Wii game. Even the fire effects looked convincing. However, this didn't come without a price. And the price is a noticeable slowdown. The frame rate would drop often in this game, which was a bit irritating but still playable. The level designs themselves were a bit too linear though. This game used the normal cheat method of using items to block the way they didn't want you to go. Sometimes these items were a bit insulting, like a couple boxes or a few rocks. Like 007 couldn't jump over a box. They have multiple checkpoints throughout the level, so you don't have to worry about if you die having to play the entire level again. In each of the worlds they have objectives for you to do. However, don't expect the objectives to be anything like you experienced in GoldenEye. They were often just to get Bond from point A to point B, then to point C. Once in a while they would get more complicated, like blow up a helicopter, but these moments were far and few between. You could play offline multiplayer with 3 other players like any other game. However, I think they should have made it so you could fill up a 2-player game with 2 other computer players to make it more fun. Unfortunately, there's no option to play against the computer, so unless you have a bunch of friends, offline multiplayer is a bit lame. Online multiplayer, on the other hand, was really fun if you could find a game. You can play with friends or against a random player. They let you play with a staggering 3 other players. Woo! Only one person at a time could play online, so you can't do split-screen online multiplayer, unfortunately. Also, I only found a consistent game in one of the modes. All the others were usually dead. Quantum of Solace is a fun game to play, but the question is, should you buy it? No, probably not, since the main game will only take you about 8 hours to beat, depending on the difficulty level you choose. And since the multiplayer isn't that exciting, since they really limit you on the amount of people you can have in a match, you should just rent this game.